Zoloft and get your head right.
Get your head right indeed. What's up, head right homies? Welcome to the Zoloft, your head right hangout. I hope your Monday is off to a fabulous and groovy spot. Have you like torn into your presents yet? Are you just like circling the tree, like buzzards, or like fresh fish that has just made its way into prison, and you're looking at them presents? Like, ooh, I can't wait till I get my hammer, do something real nasty to you. Anyway, I hope you can wait. I hope you can wait, as Santa appreciates a patient person. And when you get your presents, carefully unwrap them. Don't tear them and stuff like that. Go kung fu on them things. Bring it open. Shake it. Okay.
Have you shaken and rattled any of your presents?
No.
You're so good.
That's right. I'm a good boy. All right. So this is what has come across. Well, this is the gift that I got, I guess, starting off my week. We get to talk about some of our favorite topics, like racism. It's not my fault, man. It's not my fault that we're gonna talk. It just happens to be in the news. I mean, this is just some stuff. It's like flies, man. It just doesn't go away. It's satanic, man. It's the whole thing about it. There's everything about it. It's satanic, man. And it's there's a reason why the devil is called Beelzebub, because he's the lord of the flies, and flies won't leave you the crap alone. So we got to deal with this stuff. We'll talk about it, see if we can bring some useful perspective, not some sensationalism, not some emotionally driven dribble about this stuff, or talking about how we're just tired of it and we're just so sick of it. No. I would like to think, y'all, and there's a reason why the powers that be don't want you guys to hear this stuff. Well, you guys get to hear. You're a rare and blessed few that gets to hear this stuff from me, who actually I would think has probably the most practical approach and perspective concerning this stuff. Yeah, I said it, and it's probably true because folks don't want you to hear it, right? Nice out there trying to freaking argue with people about this stuff, man, because the arguing is just a distraction. It really is. You just need to hear it. And that's one of the things that these people don't want. And it doesn't matter if it's big tech liberal Inc. and it doesn't matter if it's conservative Inc. Neither one of them want you to hear this from me. All right, and we'll talk about it when we get there. And this is concerning Loudoun County teacher under investigation for passing around cotton while teaching about the history of the cotton gin. And once again, thank you guys so much for joining here on the YouTube. If you guys want to hit that like button, you want to hit that subscribe button, I guess it ain't gonna hurt. I don't know if it's gonna do much, but hey, maybe the algorithm, maybe if enough people like hit that button, it might mess with the algorithm. Like a bunch of people like pressing the freaking flushing the toilet in a big building at the same time. You don't really know what's gonna happen. Maybe it might do something, right? It might. I don't know. Anybody ever tried? Have they done anything like that on Mythbusters or something like that? Have they not been able to get a permit for that? It's like, no, we don't want to try it. We don't want to try it. Just for the same reason that they don't put 13th floor on buildings. It's like, I don't know, man. It's just bad, like some bad juju or something like that. We don't want everybody to flush the toilet at the same time. Right?
That'd be an interesting thing to do, though.
Yeah, kind of like it. I don't want to be in the building when it happens. Do you think that something would happen? I don't know. I don't want to find out. There's that. Yeah. And if you want to hit the button, maybe something will happen. But the better thing to do is just come on over to brazenly.com, become a member. It's free. So thank you for y'all who are joining us on our website, brazenly.com. Thank you guys for joining on the Instagrams. I see you on the Instagrams. We got Bob Morales has joined, Andrew Sherman, Aaron Crane, and I couldn't wait to say this name, Rudy Poo. Yeah, Rudy Poo 3. And I always have a difficult time saying like people's names and stuff like that. I was like, what is that? What's that? Rudy just jumped out.
That's great.
Easy for me to say. I can say names like that. Yeah.
You'd like to say names like that.
Yeah, Rudy Poo. Right? Because it's crap hole in the words. I can just relate to it. That we're living in. Poo. All right. But I mean, Poo doesn't necessarily. It's just something cute. What's up, Poo? All right. What else we got here? So there's that, talking about the Loudoun County teacher under investigation for passing around cotton, okay. Cotton is racist. These people are so freaking soft now, right? So soft. Oh, cotton. Now you soft, you a punk softy, hurt by cotton. I can't stand it. Anyway, Biden just gave 92% of federal death row Christmas, a Christmas gift. Come meet the 37 perps. We ain't gonna go through all 37 of them. I think you guys get the point. Who got their sentences commuted. Well, okay. AOC. AOC addresses pregnancy rumors after GOP Congressmember brazenly posed the question on the House floor. All right. Kamala Harris campaign advisor Lindy Lee quits Democrat Party. It's like leaving a cult. Yeah. All right. And James Lindsay's woke right attack defeated. Okay. Let's jump on into it. Cruising on over to, what's this? Not the Bee. I give them a lot more love than they give me, that's for sure. And I've been on their shows, man. What did I do? What did I do to you guys? I guess they're part of kind of like a conservative Inc. and don't really want people to know who I am. But, you know, I'm not petty like these people. I'll still read their articles and stuff.
Yeah. I'm kind of speculating the one who left, you know, of the pair who bought the Babylon Bee, but not the Bee. I'm speculating that the one who left the show is the one who invited you, because I'm pretty sure he was, and he's the more conservative one. Yeah. Whereas the more wishy-washy one stayed at Not the Bee. I still like the publications. They're funny, but
the funny thing is, like, when I got the one who invited me there, I don't know, maybe got in trouble or something like that, because they certainly didn't call me back anymore. Even though when I was on that show, despite the shadow banning, I think it was one of the highest watched shows.
It was.
Yeah, that they had. Funny thing is hardly anybody knows about it. That's the weird thing about it. That's the weirdest thing. You know, high rated when I went on their show, and you know they wanted to have me back. They never called me again. But I guess that's when they were falling out, though.
Yeah.
You know, but nobody really mentioned it.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Weird stuff. It's weird like that, man. Weird. Let's see. Maybe I should get to reading the article. Stop talking about where it came from and just go ahead and read what it's about.
Well, we were given the tea.
Yeah, that's right. Loudoun County has been the center of DEI clown world for quite a while now. And stories range from the horrible to ones like this that are just plain dumb. Now, this whole DEI thing, and this is what before I get started with this article, this is what something that so-called conservatives and what this new Republican, this new era of republicanism, which is a sad shadow and a far cry from what the Republican Party was founded as. The Democrats have effectively, they've really switched. They've got the Republicans so gaslit and so removed, you know, from the roots. They've uprooted, you know, the original radicals. You know, this is what they've done. And DEI, so much so that I can hardly even talk to somebody of the right-leaning persuasion, right? And this is just something that's festering in the Republican Party. It used to be that, it was bad enough that I used to just be seen as the black guy. Like if headlines would happen or something like that, they would have a headline, you know, black guy takes down the black first lady, right? You know, it's like I didn't even get a name, right? It's like it's you know, my name's it's Alfonso if you want to use my whole name, but no, I'm the black guy, right? But now I'm not even seen as the black guy anymore by this so-called Republican Party. I'm not even really seen as the black guy. I'm more so seen as a DEI hire. That's what I am now. I'm DEI. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing that's growing among the Republican voter. I don't even get to see, if I'm seen at all, I'm not even seen as the black guy. I'm DEI now, right? I can have a conversation. How do I know? I can have a conversation with a person who most likely leans of this persuasion. And they'll bring up DEI, and you know the language is now, yeah, well, it's all these DEI hires. You guys have heard that. Yeah, the company's going down because all these DEI hires, right? And if I'm in the midst of that conversation, this is how this conversation goes. Yeah, well, you know, it's those DEI hires. No offense.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. See, I'm not even seeing, it's like DEI now includes me. Yeah. I'm DEI now. I'm beyond even being a product of affirmative action. Yeah. I've leveled up, or I've digressed, or whichever. I don't know whichever way of the scale you want to put it. I'm DEI now, right? And if you bring up DEI, it's like, oh, no offense. So I guess that's what people think when they think DEI. They think black people. They think me, right? So stuff like this is what the Republican Party has been being led into. Gaslit by Democrats. And it's easy, right? And it's more a reflection on Republicans, Republican voters. I've been warning about this for years, warning about it for years of how the Republican Party is being mind molested and controlled by the Democrat Party, becoming exactly who the Democrat Party has, conditioned them to be. They've been doing it for years, and I've been warning about it, but Democrats don't want you to hear from me, and Republicans don't want you to hear from me. They want to be given over to people like, I don't know, Charlie Kirk or something like that. That's what they want the party to be for that. And he's a liability to the Republican Party, by the way. But whatever. But this right here, a teacher at Riverside High School is under investigation because he distributed a piece of raw cotton for students to examine while giving a lesson about the invention of the cotton gin and slavery. So, like I said, so soft, right? It's so soft that even cotton, and you could be wearing cotton clothing. It's like, you have on jeans? Do you have on a cotton shirt? Oh, wow. I'm glad you haven't burst into flames or something like that for wearing that racist clothing that you have on. But so the thing is, man, and I knew this. I don't know. It's not because I'm such a smart person. It's just a gift from God that I was able to see this stuff even when I was a kid, man, in elementary school. Even back then, I was like, man, this racial narrative is just stupid. It's just dumb, right? I saw it back then, and it's dumb from both sides. It's dumb from the people who are imposing racism, and it's dumb from the people who want to play victims of it. And trying to find some sort of self-determination or reclamation of their identity, of their racial identity, or whichever. All of it is really stupid. The way, the cause of it, the effect of it, the assertion of it, and the response to it. All of it, dude, it's dumb. I haven't heard really anybody make any sense of it. Not really. And you want to know how I know? Look around you. The stuff is still going on. And the ones who actually do make sense of it, like yours truly, can't be heard. And they don't want it to be. You know what I'm saying? It's both sides. So, this thing with this, the cotton gin and these kids, crying about racism, they're triggered because somebody brought some cotton to school, and wanted them to, touch it. Okay, well, first up, yeah, it is racist. It is racist for this school, to bring this stuff in there. Where's the school at? Riverside High School. It's not Riverside, California, though, right?
No, this is Loudoun County, I think, Virginia. Okay,
so the reason why I say it's y'all, the school systems are basically run by the Democrat Party. Education is controlled by the Democrat Party. So instead of Republicans being out there saying that this isn't racist or this is insensitive, or this is there's no need to see this as insensitive and it's part of learning, it's like, no, dude, just call it what it is. Don't give the Democrats a pass, because the Democrats are the ones who fought to keep it legal to make black folks stay out there and pick cotton. Okay, that's what they wanted to do. That's Democrats. The Republican Party said, no, we're not doing that anymore. Okay, you can't force people to be slaves. Now, or say, for instance, like people like, my mom. Now, my mom had to pick cotton, but it wasn't because she was a slave. I guess her parents were as close to
I was going to say.
slave drivers as you can get. But her parents, her black parents, made them get out there and pick cotton and pretty much oversaw them with a whip. Yeah, they pick cotton. It's like, they tie up them switches, right, and hold, and beat them like flipping goats.
Yep.
All right. So if they didn't get out there and pick their quota of cotton, okay, that was black folks doing that to other black folks, and especially did it to my mom because my mom was the darkest of them. She was treated the worst because and the thing is, my mom isn't that dark.
Yeah.
She's much lighter than I am, right? She'd be one of them high yellows, really. But because she was the darkest, she was treated the worst by her black parents. Yeah. So this kind of stuff, man, the response to it, the behavior of it, all the things that surround it. Oh, and by the way, her family are all Democrats. So that's just something that just runs in Democrats. Okay. Imposing their will on other people. That's just Democrats. And Democrats think that we're the tyrants because we say no. They think that we're imposing our will. Say, no, we're not trying to impose our will on. We're trying to keep you from imposing your perverted wills onto us.
Yeah, and what's funny is she voted for Trump and she feared her family.
Yeah, she did.
And she wasn't imposing Trump on them.
Nope, not at all. So yeah, after like years and years, not really, never really, personal. It's like we would just be like, you might want to reconsider, like, she, in California, and she'd be voting Democrat. She voted. It's like, I just, the saying, I just vote for the best person.
Yep.
And that best person tends to be Democrat. Until we tell them, it's like, have you just consider this, right? You do you, but because I know that you're complaining about a lot of things. Republicans don't run California. There's things that you're complaining about that would be in the hands of Democrats. You're just saying, if you're going to complain about it, we're going to tell you, So, but at any rate, so with the racism, Republicans just need to be like, that's the Democrats running the school system. If you guys are upset about that, you might want to take that up with Democrats.
Yeah.
Problem is that you got a lot of Republicans sending their kids to these schools too.
Exactly.
It's like, why are you sending your kids to the godless, for the godless to educate them? Why do you do that? And then you wonder why when they go to college, all this stuff that you thought that you taught them just kind of goes out the window, right? Mainly because you thought that you were teaching them some strong, some rock-ribbed, backbone of steel Republican stuff, more than you were teaching them about the Word of God. And it takes more than just telling them that Jesus loves you. Like, no, you got to actually tell them, who Jesus is. So they have that integrity when they go off to, the institutions of higher learning.
Yeah. When you only see your kid for an hour a day for 18 years, it's kind of hard to build integrity.
Yeah. While the godless are teaching them, and the godless are teaching them stuff like this. I remember when I was back in school, I was like, why is it that, our contribution to, or it's not even our contribution. This is just how this is our role. This is how we're supposed to be remembered. Our role in America, slaves, right? It'd be in the textbooks. That's just how we had to be viewed, slaves, right? But at the same, and even though some would get offended by it, it wasn't necessarily offensive to me. It was just a point of, that was just, it's what you had to focus on that. That's how you had to be remembered. That's how black folks had to be remembered. That's how black folks had to be viewed. Okay. And for me, it was, look, man, I'm watching this happen, but at the same time, when you have blacks in the culture, young and old, it would be offensive to them. But at the same time, that's how they demanded to be remembered. It was you had to make sure that you had your victim badge. It made you special somehow. And and like I say, y'all, there's no power trip like a guilt trip. It was a way to feel empowered, to let white folks know, right, that we have a vendetta against you, or there's a judgment against you. We have this, you have done this to us, and we hold guilt over you. And it was empowering. And we never want you to forget slavery, right? We never want you to forget that. We always want you to feel guilty about that because that makes us feel empowered. And we can use guilt to manipulate things. Okay? I saw that when I was a kid. That's why it's like, it wasn't offensive to me either way. It's just I saw the problem with it, and I knew the problem that would come both ways. Right? And I knew I didn't want to be caught in the middle of it. So I could see things like that, even way back then. And it's sad that, of course, this stuff is still going on today. Well, one of the reasons why, because it equals money, it equals votes, and it equals the deliciousness of the empowered victim. To be able to hold this over people's heads. So this teacher wanted to make this exercise. Let me see what a little bit more the article says. Today, some students in the teacher's class felt that the cotton gin is evil, and they reported the teacher of racism. Okay? Good. Don't stop them. Right. Don't stop them. Let them do it. But chances are, I bet that teacher was a Democrat. Mm-hmm. Let them do it. Don't stand in their way. Let me see. In a letter sent to parents today, Principal Doug Anderson said, lessons of this nature may cause students to feel any number of emotions. Adding some students in the class may have used the situation as a way to act in an insensitive manner. Okay, so you got kids that are going to be making fun of the other kids about, the cotton. Now, which begs the question, it's 2004. Okay, slavery has been abolished for a pretty good while now. If there's going to be students making fun of students over cotton, where'd they pick that up from? Why would these kids know? Why would these kids know to make a joke about cotton? Did their parents teach them that? Heck, the parents don't get to see them that much, do they?
I'm guessing not.
Did they learn that from the teachers? Are they learning it from? What sort of internet sensation do they have where they're learning that from there? Or did they learn it from the black kids? Did they learn it from them? The ones who are really sensitive about it? It's possible because unfortunately in black culture, the generation before passes on this stuff to them and makes sure that they are just as bitter about the generation before them. They have to carry on the struggle, right? And it's a cruel thing to do to your kid. It's messed up, man. It's kind of like this. Let me give you an example. You guys have probably heard this stupid narrative of mothers teaching their kids how to be pulled over, right? When you get pulled over, you need to do this, and so you don't get harassed or abused by the police and stuff like that. And there's been there's lessons on it, and viral vids and whichever. Let me give you guys a more practical approach to this. Okay, I'm gonna try to cover up my lights. Okay, while you got these mothers out there making their kids, they're passing on their grievances to make sure that their kids are just as screwed up and angry and bitter over something that's never happened to them. But we want you to carry that. That's a load that they put on their kids, right? Passing it on from generation to generation, because that's what qualifies you. It's really bad. So now you got to be so sensitive about racism that even freaking cotton will hurt your feelings. All right? It's weak. It's no pun intended. It's soft. That we're still butthurting over this sort of stuff. But at least if you're going to do it, at least point to the right people. Because it's Democrats who want to keep this narrative going. All right? Now, while you got parents out there telling it that they're victims. You a victim. You a victim. And if you get pulled over by the police, you already a suspect and you're already in danger. You're already because you're black. Right? That's the lesson that's being told. Already there's something wrong with you because you're black. Right? They keep this condition. They keep this insecurity going, making black folks the most insecure population in America, where you could be triggered by cotton. Okay, but see now here's a simple little lesson my mom taught me about getting pulled over. She handled that early on. She said, when you go to get your driver's license, take a picture like this. I don't know if y'all can see that. Let me see if it's showing on. I'm kind of on a delay, so I don't know if I'll be able to.
See it.
You can see my picture, okay? Look at that smile. Right? Look at that smile. Right? So my mom said, go into the DMV, and when you take your picture, give a big cheesy grin. Smile. That's what my mom taught me. She didn't make it out to where you're a victim if you go get pulled over, and don't worry, and don't get me wrong, it wasn't like she didn't have her apprehensions about the cops too. Right? She grew up in Democrat-controlled, segregated South. She wasn't no dummy to it, right? But she didn't know it was the Democrats. She just thought it was white folks.
Yep.
Right? That's how the Democrats want it. Okay? Because it helps keep the divide, and it makes it easier for them to manipulate and control black folks. Okay? So it's not like she doesn't know how dirty the police are, but her approach to it was, don't give them an opportunity. Disarm them quickly. Smile for your picture. That way, when the police officer says, "Can I see your ID?" and all that sort of stuff, you hand them your driver's license. They look at it, ice broken, tension gone. Right? They start laughing, and a couple times it's actually gotten me out of a ticket. Right? I think half the times I've been pulled over. Sometimes you just be spacing out, man. I'm not rebellious, man. I'm not the kind of person who just sees the speed limit because I feel like it and stuff like that. Sometimes I just may space out, man. I'm thinking about stuff. I'm not trying to be like, I'll drive as fast. I can't drive 55. I don't do that.
No, you're not
right?
like that. Sometimes
it just, I just be cruising, man. I be listening to some music, man, and I might space on the speed limit, and I've been caught doing that. I've been kind of like getting drowsy, man. I'm working late, and on my way back home and kind of get sleepy. I've been pulled over for that. And I showed the cop my driver's license. And he just started laughing, man. We just started talking and stuff like that. And he actually ended up becoming like a viewer of my show, So this is in California even, in liberal LA County, all that to say, man, these are the things that these people are caught up in, and they're being caught up with the victim mentality of this. And y'all, I can't credit myself for how this stuff goes, man. That's just a gift that I saw it earlier on. I'm just not part of that statistic. Praise be to God. I was able to see it, and I've been able to stay apart from it. There's people like that. They're few and far between. Very few. But these are the things that people need to understand about our education system. The way you fight it isn't to scoff at it. Don't scoff at it and be like, oh, this is just ridiculous. If they want to say that, hey, there's racism in our schools, agree with them. Be like, yeah, you're absolutely right. But no, Republicans be like, there's no systemic racism, there's no white supremacy, and there's no white privilege and stuff like that. It's all America's not a racist country. Then that means we have no Democrats.
Yep.
We got Democrats, and they run the school system. They run everything. Okay? They run everything. So if you want to say that there's not a racist country, then you got nothing to fight the Democrats with, because they're the ones responsible for the racism in our country. They're the reason why America is so scarred and bitter about racism. It's because of the Democrat Party, while Republicans just keep on giving them a pass and pretending like it doesn't exist. That's why we keep dealing with stupid stuff like this. It's more than just, if you want racism to stop, you just stop talking about it. Well, like Morgan Freeman said. And then I don't think like even 2 weeks later or something like that, he was calling the Tea Party racist.
Yep.
Right? The Tea Party is a bunch of racists. I thought you said we need to stop talking about it, dude. It's not that we need to stop talking about it, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. The conversation is long dead. It's a stanky zombie that people just keep on digging up, and parade it around. But the approach to it is just wrong. Right? Number one, as far as the Democrats and those who think that they're victims of racism and stuff like that, they don't want to talk about it anyway, dude. They just want to vent. They want to vent and they want somebody to blame, and they got a whole bunch of other emotional issues as it is. Like like these kids in these schools, man. It's not just about the cotton. They got emotional problems, man. They're most likely got a single bitter mom, right? Who's got them flipped out of their mind, and they don't know what to do. They find a way to lash out, right? So they're triggered by anything. That's a whole deeper issue than just racism. That's a whole bunch of other emotional stuff that they're just acting out in school. Okay, so but this kind of stuff, man, where you got these schools, Democrats are running it. Don't try to pretend like it doesn't exist. Okay, take the opportunity to be like, well, who really wanted to keep this stuff going, and there's a reason why it's the forefront of Democrats' minds all the time, where they just have to constantly keep this stuff always in your face all the time. You guys have heard the term the guilty party always returns to the scene of the crime? Y'all ever heard that? Yeah, that's why Democrats always bringing this stuff up, man, because they're the actual guilty party. They always return to the scene of the crime, always there to make it look like they weren't the ones who doing it. They got to do their CYA work. Okay, show back up and accuse somebody else. Yeah, they're like the game Clue. Maybe you did it. Mm-hmm. That's how Democrats roll, and that's really all you need to know. You see stuff like this, man. It's just like, well, yeah, that's Democrats for you. Yeah. So, but Republicans ain't really gonna do that. Yeah. The majority of this new mainstream Republican Party, they ain't gonna do it.
If this Loudoun County sounds familiar, it is the same county that was in the news a couple years ago. Because, the school board meeting with that father who had the trans boy.
Come on now.
Sodomized his daughter in the girls' bathroom. It was a trans boy, whatever you want to call him. Mm-hmm. He dressed like a girl. Sodomized her twice. So attacked her in the girls' bathroom. He went to the school board meeting and spoke out about it. He ended up being ushered out by the cops. That's right. The Department of Justice called him a terrorist and put him on a watch list along with a bunch of other parents there. So you have Virginia, and this Loudoun County is a red county. It's Republican parents sending their children to these godless Democrats to get their education. Yeah,
they get in, even in the red counties.
Yep. They run everything.
They're going to get in there. You talk about pin the tail on the donkey.
Yeah, and just because you have one or two Republicans who are on the school board, just don't send your kids there. Don't do it.
Yeah.
It's not going to do anything.
They run the schools, man. It's like the thing to do. If you ain't going to get your kids out of there, then you need to work hard to put Jesus in there. Yep. Right? And but once again, man, it's you're going to get what you get. So it's you're gonna have kids. You gotta plan your life to be able to mentor them, not send them off to be babysat and taught. Who knows what. Yeah. When they're off there.
Restoring Heroes Project is in the chat.
What's up, man?
He basically said what you said a little bit before you. He said that is soft.
Soft. Right. We got the affirmative. We got the affirmation. James, soft, right? So, anyway, y'all, if you want more details, I don't want to sit here and beat this topic up too much, but if you want more details on that, man, you can agree on this culture war coaching. You can check out my audio book, A Solid Right Cross. You can listen to it for free. It's at my website, bronzeserpentmedia.com, and I hope you check it out and get some perspective on, how people are being roped in. To the so-called racial narrative, race baiting, and all that sort of stuff. The book talks about much more than that, but that's an aspect to it because it is one of the ways that it's the prime weapon of the Democrat Party. That's their Death Star, y'all, and they use it to do a lot of damage, and we can defend against it. We can. Mainstream Republicans really do not know how to defend against it. They really don't. I don't know if they want to. Because they don't think it's important. It's important for them to complain about it. you know, talk about, you know, do their penance of talking about wokeism and stuff like that. But at the same time, trying to say that, you know, it doesn't matter. And see, they don't really know the language. They don't get it. They don't get how to really address this stuff. You know, when they're thinking of your skin color doesn't matter and all that sort of stuff, that's not really how you approach those sort of things. Because if they understand that there's this thing of identity politics, then there's a better way, a more finesseful way to approach those who are upset about it than saying, you know what, your skin color doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me what you are. It doesn't matter to me. It's not the right language, okay? Because let's say, for instance, like with Afrocentrics, or, you know, you don't even have to be Afrocentrics, but black people who are just been, you know, brought up in the Democrat-controlled school system, when you say that your skin color doesn't matter, all they hear is they don't matter. You're saying that I don't matter. Why do you think there's such a big thing about Black Lives Matter? Because you got Republicans out there saying your skin color doesn't matter. Your skin color doesn't matter. Now, I know what, you know, the mainstream Republicans mean by that. They're basically saying, I don't judge you according to your skin color. You know, like how Dr. Martin Luther King said, judge people by their character, not the color of their skin. That's what they really mean. Okay? But unfortunately, it's not a good way to say it. Your skin color doesn't matter. Right? Because what the opposite side hears is, well, you're telling me that I don't matter. My identity is wrapped up in my skin color, in my nationality, and whichever, okay? Which it shouldn't be. Okay, my pride is in the Lord. My royalty is in the Lord. You know, my esteem is in the Lord. You know, I'm pride. How am I going to be, you know, black and proud, man? I didn't have any control over what I was going to be born as. You know, I can't take credit for that. How am I going to boast in it? You know, how am I going to identify with, oh, okay, you know, no. I have a choice of what I'm going to identify with. Okay, being black, that's an immutable trait. Hey, it is what it is. I'm cool, you know, but it's not like I had this choice that I made a calculated choice to boast in, but I do have a choice to follow the Lord. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. You know? So, but you have these people, man, they're way too caught up into it and how to communicate about it. You want to say that, you know, this doesn't matter. And it's like, well, it matters to us because that's our identity. And like I said, that right there is a downfall of a conditioning. You're not supposed to, you know, have your identity wrapped up in that. Okay? It's whether it doesn't matter if you're, you know, white or whatever nationality of white, you know, from Irish to English to German to whatever. Okay? If your pride is wrapped up in that, then it causes problems. Doesn't matter if you're Mexican or Puerto Rican or El Salvadorian. It doesn't matter if your pride is wrapped up in that. It's just going to cause problems. You know. If you're Oriental, yeah, I say Oriental. I don't say Asian, right? If you're Oriental, you know, I wish somebody would come and say that's offensive. It's like, no, it isn't. Asian is offensive. I'll tell you, we are Asian. All Asia means is all Asia. The word Asia means boggy land. The word Asia doesn't indicate anything about a person's features. You know, their eye shape or their skin color or anything like that. Asia doesn't pertain to anything like that. Asia being like the politically correct thing to say is like stupid. It's dumb.
Boggy land?
That's what Asia means.
So Florida is Asia?
Yeah. Asia could be, Florida could be Asia. That's what Asia means. It means boggy, as far as I know. Right? And Asia, the thing is like, okay, you got these people out there claiming that they're Asian. And you have to say Asian that to identify these people, you know, with the epicanthic features and things like that. It's like, no, dude, you know, Russia's a part of Asia. And they don't look like, you know, y'all don't look like. India is a part of Asia. They don't have those features. Y'all don't look alike. So for people like to try to make this claim that we're Asians. Well, that's kind of selfish, isn't it? It's like there's other, you know, nationalities that share the continent with you who have very different features than you do. You know, so Asia is not the right term. The right term was Oriental, if we're going to say it in English. Because Oriental, even the word Orient, it's like, how do you get offensive from the Orient? No, the only thing that really makes offensive, the word Orient offensive, is just the attitude in which people use it. Them Orientals, you know, and the bigotry that would come out of them saying Orientals. But it's not a racist thing to say. Saying Oriental is not racist any more than saying Negro is racist. Negro is not racist. In the manner of which people have said it, there's bigotry there, yeah. But the word Negro itself is not racist. Negro just means black in the Romantic language. That's all it is. Now, the other word that came out of it, that's racist, yeah. That's bigoted. And it really sucks that so many people use that word today. But that's something different, okay? Negro is no more racist than saying Oriental. All Oriental means is east of Rome. That's all it means. All Oriental means is east of Rome. So when in Rome, when they're thinking about the people with the epicantheric features, the Far East, right? People far east of Rome, that's how they refer to them. That is the word that they use, Orient. And in the Latin, Oriental refers to east of Rome.
Huh, that's so precise.
How is that offensive? It definitely pertains more to the Chinese, the Japanese, the Okinawans, you know, the South Pacific, the Koreans. It refers more to them than the word Asia, which shares the continent with people who don't look anything alike.
Yeah.
Except for being human. But from the fair-skinned Russians to the dark-skinned Indians to the olive-skinned and epicantheric featured eyes of the Chinese and the Japanese and the Okinawans and the Koreans and the South Pacific, Far East, because they were the ones furthest east. How is that offensive? We can't say Oriental anymore. You got to say Asian, which don't even make any sense. It's like you mess with your own identity doing that. You gave yourself no distinction by doing that, while trying to demand a distinction to be called Asian. It's stupid. Anyway, racism is stupid, man.
Yes.
The race narrative is stupid. Race baiting is stupid. Pride is freaking stupid. Pride in your nationality, pride in your gender, that's dumb, man. Anyway, what's up?
Watching trains go by says, Oriental also means doesn't turn head when changing lanes. That's not racist. It's a fact. I don't understand why. Even my brother-in-law drove like that. He doesn't know why either. Yes, if you befriend an Oriental, they will fully admit, and I'm not friends with every single one of them, but I grew up around them. They will fully admit that they drive horribly and they don't know why, and they claim it. Every single one I've ever known.
I know exactly why they do. I know exactly.
Careful, because you have Asian in you.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oriental in you, sorry.
My grandmother is from the Philippines. But there's a reason for that. And it just comes down to culture. And the culture is Asian, you know, the so-called Asians, you know, the Orientals, are bad drivers. That's just, it's a cultural stigma. And because of that, and they're aware of it, it makes them very nervous when they drive. It's very distracting. They have that on their mind when they drive. Oh, you're seen as a bad driver, and they start messing up because that's what's on their mind when they're thinking about it. How it started, probably because they were so prolific. Their national identity is caught up with cars because they make a lot of them.
Yeah.
You know, so it's probably like, how y'all gonna make these? And they're pretty mad because they make these economic cars that run really good. You got to find some reason to hate on them, right?
Right.
Yeah, you make cars, you can't even drive them, you know? And so that's probably what they're thinking about when they get out on the road. It's like, oh no, I'm going to get out on the road and people are going to think I'm a horrible driver. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
True.
That's why so many, you know, you got me doing it, call them Asians. Orientals, I hardly ever say the word either Asian or Oriental anyway.
Yeah, true.
But I hear the word Asia all the time. Asian, Asian, Asian. So you get caught up with saying it. But y'all ain't controlling me, man. You ain't gonna force me into conforming to your worldly language. I ain't doing it. I know what's up, right? I think it's more respectful and it's more honorable to call them Orientals because I think it describes them better than calling them Asian.
It's more precise.
It's more precise, right? It's more precise. I guess, probably the reason why, like, say, for instance, Chinese, they don't like to be called Orientals, is because the word for China in their chief language is Zhongguo. So they probably don't want to just be seen as this nation of people that's in the eastern corner of the world, right? Zhongguo means center of the earth.
Wow.
That's how the Chinese see themselves. You want to talk about nationalism? They be talking about this American nationalism. And like China named themselves the center of the globe.
Wow.
Right? That's how the Chinese see themselves. That's what Zhongguo means. And that's how they want to be seen. We're Asia. We're all of Asia. All of it. Right? You Russians and you Indians, you guys are some sort of anomaly or something like that. Asia is ours. Right? The world is ours. Zhongguo, center of the earth. So that's probably why it's offensive to call them Orientals, because they don't want to just be seen as these people sectioned off to the east. Maybe that's why. All right. Let's see. What else we got? Moving on, because racism is stupid. Race narrative is
We're
stupid.
going to have to go back with our final article with that Chinese woman who left the Democratic Party.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Look, yeah, she'll learn. Let's see. Biden just gave 92% of federal death row inmates, death row a Christmas gift. Come meet the 37 perps. Biden. He knows what he's doing. So now, I'll just go over this like really quick. Biden, being that, he's a devout Catholic, and I'm not even going to say devout Catholic in quotes.
Quotes, yeah.
Yeah, he's a devout Catholic. Sure, why not? Matter of fact, he's the best kind of Catholic. He's the best kind of a religious person. Because when you're a religious person, actually, I won't even say religious in quotes. When you're a religious person, because all religion sucks. I don't follow religion. I follow Jesus. Okay? Religion is something that is doomed for people to take liberties with anyway. Religion is something that are doctrines where people can manipulate the sanctions in it. You know what I'm saying? You can interpret it, however you want and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, man, you can do that. You can do that with the Bible, with the Word of God too. You can do that also. See, here's the difference though. See, religion as a doctrine, can that doctrine, this is the difference, y'all. Remember, this is the difference between following Jesus and following a religion. And Biden is a devout Catholic. And just like with any law, you can take loopholes with it. You can interpret it how you want. Okay? So he's doing just fine. He is a devout Catholic. Okay? See, here's the difference though between following Catholicism or Islam or Mormonism, or whatever religion that you want to throw in there. It's just doctrine. When you follow Jesus, you follow the doctrine. You follow the law. You follow the truth that can testify of himself and let you know. Okay? When you're not interpreting his law correctly or incorrectly. So when you follow religion, you can go ahead. Religion, it's not like your doctrine can tell you that you're wrong. See, Jesus can. Now of course, one would say, Zoe, when you talk to Jesus, does he talk back to you? Does he tell you that you're getting his word right or wrong? Not in the way that you would think. We have his word.
Yes, he talks back through that.
Right? He talks back through that. You read it. When you're reading the Bible, y'all, you are reading the textual representation of God. It's not just words on paper. It actually is the reason why it's called the Testament. It is him testifying of himself. Okay? This is God-breathed writ. And you don't have to go through a third party like another priest or another religion to get the word from your high priest in the first place. He is reading it to you. You absorb it. Okay? And when you breathe the word into you, and you love the Lord for who he says he is, your perspective gets on his frequency and you're squared up with him, where you don't take liberties like this and have this gross interpretation of what you're supposed to do to harden criminals. Okay, so Biden, all that to say, I think it has in here, Biden gives his supposed philosophy on this. I think, this right here, but guided by my conscience and my experience as a public defender, chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, vice president, and now president, I am convinced ever that we must stop the use of the death penalty at the federal level in good conscience. I cannot stand back and let a new administration resume execution that I halt. Okay, nothing about that is biblical. All right. Now, let me first say that the Lord himself tells you, I do not delight in the destruction of the wicked. I would rather they see the light and live. But being that they don't see the light, I'm going to have them put to death. God has led him some scorched earth campaigns and has had people put to death. Why? Because they were hard perverts. Okay. Slavery, sex trafficking, child trafficking, the most detestable things that you could do to another human being. God was like, I'm putting you to death for that. All right. God just wasn't just some mean old God who just showed up because, they don't believe me, I'm going to kill them. No, these people were like psycho. Yeah. Okay. So some cultures, God be like, you can go ahead and kill those, who have power, and you go ahead and take the women. You can take the women as slaves and stuff like that. Because believe me, the Israelites taking these women as slaves from where they were was a rescue. Okay, they were in God's hands now. It's like you rescued now. And then unfortunately, the Israelites themselves went off the deep end and whatnot. But some nations were so far gone that when God sent the Israelites in there, it's like, God's like, kill everything. Kill the women, kill the children, kill the animals, burn the earth. All of it, right? Because the things that they were doing was so detestable. I'm talking disease spreading detestable. I'm talking about, we're talking about GMOs before the GMO became a narrative. Breeding practices, farming practices, detestable stuff, man, just gone, right? So all that to say, when Biden is thinking that he's being some devout Catholic, where you don't put people who have disregard for human life and you don't put them to death, is just totally unbiblical. And now I may be quite Catholic, but it ain't biblical. And so I get it, man. Some Catholics may argue and say, hey, Christians may argue the Bible is against the death penalty. And you ain't gonna find nothing in the Bible that supports that. Nothing. Okay? If you go by the Bible. If you go by Catholicism, which is a religion and a doctrine that cannot testify of itself, you can twist that up any way you want to. People do that to their religions all the time. But see, you can't do that with Jesus. Right? You can't do that. When you actually follow Jesus for who he says, because you got a lot of people out there claiming to be Christians, man. And Jesus himself says, I don't know you. Because you don't know me. You don't follow me according to who I say I am. Right? And you'll have people taking liberties like this and saying things like, there should be there should be just all out clemency. Don't have the death penalty or anything like that. So Jesus, who is God, who has always been God, was that say, when people try to say that Jesus wouldn't be for the death penalty, why would you say that? Are you a Christian? Yes. Well, then you understand that Jesus is God, right? Yes. Well, then you understand that Jesus has always been God. You understand that Jesus is the same God that poured out fire on Sodom and Gomorrah, right? He killed all those people because they were perverts, murderous perverts. Right? You understand that Jesus has always been God, right? The one who flooded and drowned everybody on earth. That was a massive death penalty. You know that, right? Because the world had become wicked and violent, full of violent perverts. God had them put to death. That's Jesus. Because Jesus has always been God. Right? So Jesus, who was being executed himself and had, some criminals next to him. I don't know. They were probably part of an insurrection and stuff like that. Maybe some people got killed or whichever, or maybe somebody got killed in a robbery or whichever, however you want to play it. But Jesus wasn't like, hey, stop this right now. This person should not be put to death. I do not believe in the death penalty. Father, I want it to be known that I don't believe in the death penalty or anything like that. No. Jesus said nothing of the sort. So Biden, talking about this stuff right here, he doesn't want these people to be executed, but he wants them to, I don't know. He wants people to have the opportunity to go out there and execute other people.
Yeah.
Because, people are going to take this as precedent and be like, well, heck, man, if I get out there and kill people, I won't be put to death. I may be sent to prison, and I'll get taken care of like Mangione. It's probably what he wanted. Why he went out there and killed that CEO. It's like, man, this crappy, so-called healthcare system that we got now, I can't get no treatment, man.
Yeah, he's got all the money, that one would need to get great health care, and he didn't.
Can't get it taken care of, but
not even money can buy you good health care in this country anymore.
But maybe a prison sentence can.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
They'll be in New York and California. They're known for having luxurious prisons, aside from Rikers Island, where they were going to send Trump.
As the saying goes, if you want to go to a place where the education is free and the food is free and porn, all that sort of stuff, health care, all that sort of, all these goodies. Socialism or prison?
Yeah.
That's how much, socialism and communism is like prison. All right. So, yeah, you can get those things. But, for Biden to say that, man, that's what a good conscience does. Your conscience is all screwed up and corrupt, man. That's a cruel thing to do to the victims of the families of these victims. That's a cruel thing to do, man.
Yes.
These people have deprived them of their loved ones. These people had no regard for life. And I don't say that, that's right, they need to be put to death. That's not my attitude. Like the Lord says, man, I don't delight in the destruction of the wicked. But they held disregard for life. They disregarded the people who loved them and deprived them, of the people that they love. That cost, man, And for Biden to deprive them of that, that's really cruel. And not only that, it sets just more of a stage for others to be emboldened. It's not like it takes much anyway. People, they'll still take the risk and get out there and kill people. But hey, why help add to it? So, but Biden, he's not doing this because, his worldview is stupid, but he knows what he's doing, y'all. It's like I've been saying this for years, and all of a sudden Van Jones is getting attention for saying that he's telling Democrat voters that they're dumb. He's like, Trump is the smart one. Y'all are stupid. Trump has got the White House. We're the dummies. Who let him get in there, or who couldn't stop him from getting in there. And so Van Jones is getting all this attention for saying. I said the same thing in the reverse. I was saying, like, y'all talk about how stupid Biden is. Biden's dumb and Biden's got mental problems. It's like Biden was able to steal the White House from Donald Trump. Yeah, he took the White House from MAGA and even put a few of theirs in jail and has kept them there. Right? And it has since then just been doing just damage to the country. Calculated damage. He's not doing this stuff because he's incompetent. He knows what he's doing, man.
Yeah.
Right? If he's stupid and he's incompetent, all this sort of stuff, that doesn't say a lot for Trump because he was able to steal the White House from him and do all sorts of damage while Trump has always been the legitimate president. So, but this psycho right now is this is the kind of stuff that he's planning on doing, and it's calculated, y'all.
Yeah.
And so.
And these guys who he, what is it called, commuted their death sentences, look at the article and just read how awful these people are.
Yeah,
brutal people.
And the ones that were probably left in there who didn't get a commuted sentence, they were probably the most benign.
Yeah, there were 3 of them. Dylan Roof, who shot up the black church in South Carolina in 2015. Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, the Boston bomber, and Robert Bowers, who killed 11 people in 2018 at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Global rubber room, y'all.
Yeah.
This your sane space. Don't you forget it. AOC. Let's move on to AOC. I know I said I wasn't going to spend too much long. And this, I don't know if she's got enough brain matter for me to spend too much time on. But
she has a degree in economics from
that's
one of
right.
those Ivy League schools. She's smart.
Well, she's more educated than I am, that's for sure. Let's see. Hold on. So the gist here is she pregnant? If she is pregnant, man, she probably just got pregnant so she could have the delight of aborting her kid. I don't know. It's like, why? It's like, pregnant? Ew. Don't ever accuse me of being pregnant. No, I'm not pregnant. Yeah, that's abortion fuel. But here's, I don't really have much to say about this except for this. And I think this isn't news. You guys already know this. AOC is a freaking hypocrite. She's an absolute hypocrite. And this is what she says in her response. This is what she says in her response to people asking if she's pregnant. I'm not pregnant, guys, she said, dispelling a rumor that has circulated since before the election. I had a lot of food at Thanksgiving, okay? It happens. Are you guys seeing the problem with that? AOC. The hell are you doing celebrating Thanksgiving? Yeah, I'm just gonna leave that there. Do I need to explain? Do I need to explain? Do I need to mansplain to you, AOC, why it's problematic for you to be celebrating Thanksgiving? You Democrats who try to make America feel guilty about having Thanksgiving, that we stole this land from the Indians and all that sort of stuff, and we're using it as an opportunity to push our faith in whatever. You celebrating Thanksgiving? That's as bad as Chuck Schumer cooking up some hamburgers. What was that, on the 4th of July? What the hell you doing, Chuck? You celebrating America. You hate America. You hate this republic.
Right.
You hate it. You want this to be a democracy where you Democrats can vote away our God-given rights. You want the majority, the supposed majority, to be able to vote away things. So it's AOC celebrating Thanksgiving is as wrong as Chuck Schumer celebrating 4th of July by cooking up by putting some American cheese on some raw burger patties. Now, one, that's just sacrilegious to the barbecue grill. But more importantly than the one aspect of it, isn't Chuck Schumer a Jew? You Jewish, Chuck. As a Jewish person, it's against your religion, because y'all don't. People like Chuck, you don't really understand what your religion is about. It's against your religion, man, to have dairy with meat, okay? Because Jews believe that, because the scripture says, "Do not seethe a kid goat in its mother's milk." You're not supposed to have meat mixed with dairy products. It's not what the scripture means. But that is a tradition that they have where they don't mix meat, like a cheeseburger or burrito with cheese and all that sort of stuff. You don't mix dairy products with your meat. And there's Chuck Schumer putting American cheese on some raw beef patties. Okay. You're doing it wrong, Chuck. I don't know, maybe it was, but you know what? Maybe it was Beyond Meat. I don't know. Did anybody ask? Was it confirmed?
No, I don't think it was confirmed.
I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt, Chuck. I could be wrong, man. If I am, I apologize. Because you may have had some raw. You really should wait till it's cooked, sizzling first before you put cheese on there. But maybe it was Beyond Meat. Maybe he had some Impossible Burger on there. I don't know. Maybe it could have been that. And maybe maybe what looked like some American cheese, maybe it was cashew cheese. I don't know. Might have been cashew cheese.
Cashew cheese.
You know, it might have been some tofu cheese or whichever. So I apologize if that's what it was. Anybody know? But either way, you did it wrong. All right, that's enough of you, AOC. Get on out of here with your hypocritical self. Celebrating Thanksgiving. You know, you're just as much guilty as taking land away from me as anybody else.
Right. Plus, she's gluttonous, and she has gained so much weight in a month that people are asking her if she's pregnant. It wasn't just the Republican congressman that asked her; it was other people in her Instagram. Look like shit.
Did you get your raise in Congress early?
Yeah,
AOC?
right. Your 40% raise.
Right? Did you get your raise and eat like 40% more? Yeah. Stole the land from the Indians. I'm sorry that America got in the way of the Indians stealing land away from each other, other Indians. Anyway, Kamala Harris campaign advisor Lindy Lee quits Democrat Party. It's like leaving a cult. Yeah, it sure is. Yeah, you know, when I first started, this is just me relating to what she's talking about. When I started doing commentary, it was like several years, you know, after, you know, the turn of the century, right? You know, I'd be trying to play in rock bands and stuff like that. And I was a default Democrat, you know, not too far, you know, I was old enough to vote by, you know, by 1990, right? It's old enough to vote. And, you know, being in California, I'm in California, raised in the public school system. I always knew that there was something wrong with it. Like I said, I saw this stuff ever since elementary school, but it's like, you know, it wasn't like politics was talked about a lot, you know, in my household. More of cultural narratives were talked about, and it was usually, you know, a lot of the race narrative and things like that. But even I didn't get caught up with that stuff, and it was just something I just stayed away from. I didn't want to get caught up in it. But as a default Democrat, man, I just, you know, I didn't really go down the whole road of Republicans were evil and Republicans are this and Republicans are that, because the first Republican I ever met, I think I met him like back in the 70s, right? I was, you know, probably, you know, eight, and, you know, he was around till I was probably, I don't know, like 14 or something like that. And as this Republican, and we lived in the hood, man. We were in Delman Heights, you know, San Bernardino. Not a nice neighborhood. And this guy was a civil engineer, white guy. Big burly white guy, right? And he used to be, I think he was a pro wrestler too. I think he went by the name Killer Clark. But he had long since retired. And was a civil engineer in the city. And this guy bought, I don't know if he bought the house or if he rented it or if he was using it as a place just to be kind of like close to where he was working or something, because I think he lived like in Garden Grove or whichever. And but he came and he did work. You know, he was doing work in this area. So he got him a house in the hood, man, Delman Heights. Right? I watched a place where a dude. I woke up to a dude who had shot himself in the yard, like next to me, right? He used to go out at night. He had this big orange afro, man. This Puerto Rican dude, you know, he used to go out at night, man, and howl at the moon.
Wow.
He'd just be out there just drunk and howling, you know. And then one day he just pow, he shot himself. You know, that was our neighborhood, right? And this guy, you know, is well off enough, comes to move in the hood, you know, to do some civil engineer work, you know, around. And he was Republican. But this Republican that the first Republican, you got a lot of people out there who never even met a Republican and hate their guts. Never even knew one. Don't even know any, right? Well, I got to meet one. Came to live in the hood. Had a huge crush on my black mom, right? And spoiled us. Right? My mom really didn't want to have anything to do with him, but he loved her, right? And so I'm like, okay, I'm not. Oh, and by the way, his son was a homosexual. He didn't agree with his lifestyle, but it wasn't like, you know, I reject you and get out and I never want to see you again, right? He didn't hate his son. He just didn't agree with his life choice. I didn't see him being mean or cruel, to his son, right? So he wasn't homophobic. Of course, not agreeing with a homosexual just makes you homophobic.
That's true.
I didn't see him treat, he alienated. His son was hostile to him. That's for sure. He was a brat, man. But he wasn't that way towards his kid. His kid was, I don't know, probably 18 or something like that when I knew him, or whichever. And so that he wasn't racist. He wasn't a chauvinist, right? He was always open and taking my mom out to eat, always opening the door for her and all that, sending her flowers. I didn't see no chauvinism. Only problem was he was married at the time. So that might be a little bit of a problem. But he, I guess, and I'm not condoning it.
It might be why your mom didn't want to have anything to do with him.
Right? But it's like, but don't lead him on though.
Yeah.
So all that to say, I already had my encounter with Republicans, and he kind of, broke things. This is when, and he was around when Reagan was coming into office and explained some things. And I'm still, a kid, trying to process these things. And so I knew that there was something, and it resonated with me because it's like, yeah, man, the things that I'm supposed to believe, like being black and all that sort of stuff, and God, it doesn't fit, and I knew that. So I kind of carried that with me, even though I, had become like more of a default Democrat in whichever. Didn't really consider myself, one or the other, but I just, by default. And, playing in music, playing in bands and stuff like that, you're going to just, they usually lean to the left. And, we'd get in rehearsal, man. And if I questioned the Democrat narrative or the liberal narrative or anything left or anything like that, oh man, I get cussed out. You a Uncle Tom, you a sellout, a house N-word and stuff like that. And that's stuff that I would get, So I know what you're talking about, Lindy. I know, and no Republican ever told, I've been at booths. I've been to a booth, standing by a Republican, booth, and have white Democrats walk past me and be like, "What are you doing here? You're supposed to be a Democrat." Like white Democrats telling me what I'm supposed to be. So I'm like, wow, ain't no Republican ever told me what I'm supposed to be. Or telling me that, you go to these tea parties, man, you go to these tea parties, these Klan rallies and stuff like that. Ain't no tea party ever treated me hostile. I've been keynote speakers at tea parties. Okay? I've never shown up to a tea party with signs that said no colors allowed. Democrats put those signs up though. They did that. White Republicans didn't do that. White Democrats did that. Or try to say that these, all those rich old white people, it's like a big Klan rally. I'm like, you idiot. Klan rallies aren't made up of rich white people. Klan rallies are young, wild, usually poor and stupid white people. And or if they get smart about anything, it's about, projecting their stupid worldview. Just kind of like how Democrats are. Okay? Well, the Klan and the neo-Nazis, they're Republicans now. It's like, no, they're not really. You can't be a Nazi and really be a Republican.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. If you're really a Nazi, you have to understand that Nazism is National German Socialist Workers Party. That doesn't fit with us capitalist Republicans. Okay, the worldview of a Nazi is reflective of the Democrat Party. If you got some so-called neo-Nazis out there that are voting Republican, they're just confused idiots. They don't really understand. If anything, it's like, what you got? What, you don't like the Jews? Well, you're still at more home with the Democrat Party because the Democrats don't like the Jews. Hey, they don't like the Jews, and they use the Jews.
Yeah.
And they want Israel wiped out just as much as Islam does. Okay, so you got these people who are claiming to be KK, this new KK who is supposed to be are Republican voters now. They're just confused idiots. I'm not making excuses for them. It's just true. They're just dumb. They don't really understand the core supposed principles of their own ideology. So and they're really at more at home. Nazism KKK, all that stuff. Their ideology that squares up. Matter of fact, I think Hitler was an admirer of the Democrats. He was an admirer of Margaret Sanger, who was a Democrat. All right, so they're on the same frequency, and Nazism is a cult. All right, it's a cult, just like the Democrat Party. And hopefully, Lindy her eyes will be opened even more. Says she's leaving the Democrat Party. I don't know if that means she's going to become a Republican. It's not really a good reason to become a Republican just because you have a fallout with the Democrat Party. You should be inspired by Republicans, right? It's like, what is it? That's the thing about the Republican Party. Republican Party they're more dependent on the Democrat Party letting their voters down. Mm-hmm. That's the strategy. Everybody, we'll just wait. They're really gonna see how bad it is in the Democrat Party. When you wait, you see, and then they'll come to us. It's not like the mainstream Republicans are offering. It's like, hey man, look, you want to check. Actually, what the mainstream Republican party is offering is that, hey, we're just like the Democrats. We're okay with trans. We're okay with gay. Yep. We're okay. It's like we want this big tent Republican. We want strength in numbers. And you just all you got to do is vote for Trump, and you're okay with us. It's pretty much the same thing. You don't have to be vetted or anything like that. You don't have to assimilate. Or adapt. What it is to be. You better assimilate, and you better recognize when you come into. If you're going to come into America, though. But we don't have to have any. You got to have a standard. There's standards. We have standards about you coming into America. We ain't got no standards when it comes to coming into our party. That's the hypocrisy of the mainstream Republicans now. What's their standard in Republican? Trump! All right, well, you're good enough for us. We don't care what you are.
Yeah.
Right? As long as you're going to vote for Trump, you're okay with us. So I don't know if this helps you, Lindy, but mainstream Republican Party, it's pretty much becoming a cult too. Yeah. Let's see. James Lindsay's woke right attack defeated. Let's see. Come on. Oh, no. Really? I don't want to open it up in Chrome.
Really quickly, she calls herself a conservative Democrat.
Ain't no such thing. No such thing. Just like there's no such thing as a radical Democrat. No such thing. Okay? We get off on a rant about radicalism again. But
I just wanted to know what you thought of that. What does she mean?
Yeah, thanks. Okay, a conservative Democrat. Lincoln himself put the squash on that back in his day. Right? Lincoln be like, y'all trying to call yourselves, because Democrats tried to call themselves conservative back then. Okay? And Lincoln's like, man, y'all need to quit. You guys try to switch things up again. You try to throw around this conservative like you're moral. And see, Democrats still have a sick problem with that today, don't they? They act like they're the moral superiors. They act like they're the ones with all the virtue, right? And matter of fact, they're the real conservatives because they're about conservation. They're the ones trying to conserve, and protect, all of the earth. Okay. But the Democrats, they're the conservatives because they're the ones who are, they're the moral ones, and they have all of America's interest, to keep this experiment of America, while they're doing the exact opposite. And Lincoln saw that in his day, and he called them out for it. He's like, y'all try to think of yourselves conservatives, while you're anything but. And then Lincoln proceeds to say, man, we the Republicans, man, we're the ones conservative. We're the ones who are sticking to, we're the ones adhering to what the founders had in mind, which results in a liberty for everybody, the true liberty, the balance of it. Now I'm kind of paraphrasing, but that's what he's talking. He's like, when we're talking about conservative, that's what was set up for our nation. This is how we keep it. What y'all are trying to do, these new things. Or what you try to present as new things and new ways of doing things, new ways of preserving what we were trying to get away from that intrudes upon our liberties. Y'all want to package it up and sell it like it's something new and liberating. Like to y'all, what's really liberating is taking liberties with somebody else's liberty. Like you think it's freedom to be able to have slavery. That's freedom to you. We have the right. We're free people. We have the right to have slaves, to deprive other people of their freedom. We have the right to do that because that's what liberty is all about. That's just what Democrats are, right? That's who they are, man. So her trying to say, or what did she say again?
She calls herself a conservative Democrat. She says that's how she's always been, and she doesn't understand these psychopaths that are going after her, calling her all kinds of horrible names.
I mean, she probably, what does she think herself as, like a Kennedy Democrat?
I don't know.
A JFK, he's an anomaly. Okay, that wasn't the bulk of the Democrat Party, y'all. Kennedy was an anomaly, and he was inspiring in his own way, but
he was an anomaly.
He wasn't. It's like his way wasn't prevalent, y'all. I mean, heck, even his own vice president was a full-on bigot. All right, he's a Southern, he was a Dixiecrat, if you will. All right, so Kennedy was, I guess if that's what Lindsay considers, because Kennedy would be today considered, I guess, a conservative, a Republican. All right, and Kennedy was in lockstep with the Democrat Party today. He voted. He was a senator who voted against desegregating schools. Right? Keep black folks over here. He was against it. But he evolved, if you will. If you want to use that term, he evolved. He was parting ways. He's starting to see things more clearly. He probably would have stopped being a Democrat. He probably would have become a Republican. All right, but he got killed before that happened, and so a conservative Democrat, like I don't know if people are thinking like blue dog Democrats or anything like that. What is it? The blue? You actually have to make a category. You have to make a category for Democrats, like a blue dog Democrat. Why do you even have to make a category about people who work for Democrats? Why? You know why? Because Democrats feel like they're entitled to stuff.
Yeah.
Democrats of the party say, I don't do work. I make slaves work.
Yes.
Right? So you have to make a category for Democrats who actually have a work ethic and call them blue dog Democrats. Right? I guess, which would be like once again, if we're talking about blue collar, workers, Democrats, the workers, the laborers. I don't know, kind of like in Germany, National German Social Workers Party. You have these people, these entitlement-minded, collectivist-minded people who think of themselves as the workers and pride themselves as the workers. And it's always going to be your collectivist-minded people who do that.
Yep.
All right? That's another thing that you Democrats have in common with them Nazis. But you got to. So what is? Are you the moral? Are you the upstanding worker kind of Democrat? Are you a conservative worker Democrat? You've got morals. I get out there and I work. Okay, yeah. All right, well, good for you. Just work is kind of like something we're supposed to do, but you got to make a special distinction for you blue collar working class Democrats.
Yeah.
You're the proletariat of America. Whatever, dude. Being a conservative or what? I don't know. Are you a Democrat that doesn't drink?
Right.
Are you one of those prohibition?
Is that what makes her conservative?
Yeah, because that was another thing that Democrats tried to call themselves conservative because they were the ones against prohibition.
Yep.
Right? Lips that touch liquor won't touch ours. So they had are you one of those?
Wait, that were against prohibition?
Yeah.
Didn't they institute it?
Democrats?
Yeah.
No. They were the ones who were against it. They were. Wait, hold on. Maybe I'm getting prohibition wrong. They were for prohibition. They were pro-prohibition.
Yeah.
Sorry. It almost sounds like one of them double negatives where it's like you got to be against it. Okay, thank you. Thank you for helping me correct if I was messing up on that. But yeah, is she one of those? I don't know. I don't know. But all that to say, there's no such thing as a conservative Democrat. Okay, because you can't really be a Democrat if your objective is to preserve or conserve the republic. That's what we are. We're a constitutional republic. If you're a Democrat, your objective is to shape us into a democracy. That's what being a Democrat is. Okay, you want a democracy. As Republicans, we understand that this is a republic. If you're going to be a conservative, well, being a Republican would be a better fit because being that this is a constitutional republic, we want to conserve. That means that we want the prolonged enjoyment and the maintenance of our resources to be able to continue with this nation, with this republic. To be a conservative Democrat, it's not a good fit. It doesn't work. I mean, maybe are you a Democrat because it's being a Democrat really is because the core of being a Democrat is to be able to take liberties with other people's liberties. Are you pro-abortion? You know, is that one of the things that keeps you hanging on with the Democrat Party is because you want to take liberties? You feel like people should have the liberty to take liberties with another person's life? You know, are you pro, open borders? You know, taking the liberties with other people's liberty and by letting other people in and infringe on other people's ability to find jobs and things like that, or to be safe and whatnot. I don't understand. You know, I do. It's a rhetorical statement. So I get it why these people assume themselves to be. Because calling yourself a conservative Democrat is the same way as like, you got Republican voters who consider themselves socially liberal but fiscally conservative.
Oh, I can't stand that.
Can't stand that because it doesn't make any sense. It cancels itself out. It really does. You know, it's wishy-washy and it's gay, right? So, so calling yourself a conservative Democrat, hopefully she wakes up to why that's just, it's pointless.
Yeah, she's in the news because she's a big-time Democratic National Committee chairwoman, and she left. And she said leaving the Democratic Party is like leaving a cult. And she's way for Pete Hegseth, and he's about as Christian conservative as you can get. So I think she's probably found her home. Yeah.
Now, hopefully, hopefully that turns out to be true because Hegseth he's getting some stigma. He's been married a few times. It looks like due to like adultery. I don't know. I hope that stuff's not true. But I guess it is true that he's been divorced.
Yeah.
And adultery being at the core of it. Hopefully at this point maybe he's repented and found Jesus. But I guess there's some things to be accounted for as far as that goes. So I haven't. It's one of those things that, pray to the Lord about, about the right counsel, about how to proceed and who you get behind, and whatnot.
I've heard a little here and there, and from the little I've heard, he sounds like he is sorry about, just screwing up so much in his past. Which we all do, but...
We gotta repent, man.
Yep.
But yeah, it's hopefully with her, she sees what the real deal is, and if she becomes a Republican, sometimes Democrats, those who lead the Democrat Party, who come into the Republic, they make better Republicans than a lot of Republicans that are in there.
Oh, that's true.
So she could be one of them. She's big, big Democrat voter, donor. I think so was Trump. He did a lot. He had to do a lot of business. Had to do a lot of schmoozing with Democrats to get what he wanted to get done in there. As a businessman. Let's see. Last thing. James Lindsay's woke right attack defeated. Yeah, I think he said some stupid stuff. What began as and this is coming from evangelical dark web. What began as a subversive operation to discredit the ideas of Christian nationalism has ultimately backfired on James Lindsay. The use of the label woke right has been a liberal smear tactic for some time. I guess as far as liberals are concerned, Christians and stuff like that, we can be woke too. Yeah, you can be woke. You can be woke the same way a man can have a period. You can, whatever. Has been a liberal smear tactic for some times with adversaries like James Lindsay, Konstantin Kisin, Joel Berry, and Neil Shenby, all championing the term against Christian nationalists and adjacent movements initially. By the way, y'all, this is what a Christian nationalist looks like.
Yeah.
I'm a Christian nationalist, all right? As far as I'm concerned, where I am is a nation, even unto ourselves is an annex of the kingdom, right? So Lindsay, but shortly after this campaign, resounding backfired on Lindsay. For starters, Lindsay's argument that agreement with Marxist critiques of liberalism equates to being a Marxist. Let me read that again. For starters, Lindsay's argument that agreement with Marx's critiques, I wonder if that's supposed to say Marxist critiques. Marxist critiques. Agreement with Marxist critiques. Oh, no, okay. Unless he's talking about something that Marx himself has said. Marx's critique of liberalism equates to being a Marxist. Okay, this is an absurd, fallacious argument, especially in the realm of political theory and philosophy, where there were countless men who held similar critiques of liberalism to Marx, while holding a different solution. Okay, now I've said this for a while myself. Disagreeing, and there's a lot of so-called Republican voters that disagree with liberalism. Doesn't make you a conservative.
Right.
Okay, you just think you may have a different view than a liberal. It doesn't make you a conservative. Or like, say, for instance, Hitler. As I've said before, Hitler hated communism. Doesn't make him a capitalist. All right, but you got people out there. It's like the second, like, who cares what these celebrities think? And the second a celebrity says something contrary to the liberal view, they're a conservative. Whatever. No, they're not. So, for starters, okay, got that. As a battle raged on social media, several prominent figures came out against Lindsay, giving way to defeat and delegitimization of the term woke right. While it is important that Christians fight this term, American Reformer had some very interesting co-belligerents who took up the fight, several of whom were previously unfamiliar with their outlet. Now, the funny thing is that woke would be a better fit for Christians anyway. Why is the liberal? Why we call? I mean, and I remember when this stuff started. This whole woke thing. It's basically a term that I guess the right just kind of gave to the left.
Yeah.
Because the liberals out there putting their tweets out there talking about being woke. I guess I see what's going on. I see the racism, and I said, "Oh, woke! My eyes are open." And so it just kind of caught this wokeism, where you're just going to basically see your eyes are wide open, you're wide awake, and you see racism in everything. Everything is racist. Everything is sexist. My eyes are wide open. I'm so awake to it now. Your eyes are wide open in the way that the devil wants it to be. That's how woke you are. Okay? What did the devil say in the very beginning when he pushed up on Adam and Eve? Your eyes will be open. Okay? Your eyes are going to be open to what I want you to see. All right? I'm going to frame this just like this. I'm going to get you to trust me by getting you to distrust God. I'm Satan, man. My name means the slanderer. I'm going to accuse God of something that he has no intention of. I'm going to twist his intentions. And I'm going to make you distrust him. All right? And I'm going to stroke your pride. And I'm going to make you covet his power. Yeah. And so, the devil was able to get them to give death dominion over all of us, by doing this. So you have these people right here, who this atheist who's going to come in and try to accuse us of something and use the term woke. But that's okay. I don't want to get caught up in the whole woke label. Right. I'm just saying that it's a better fit for us because we're supposed to be the ones awake in Christ. We're the ones who are really awake and open with our eyes open to see things the way that they're supposed to be seen.
Yeah.
These people who think that they're enlightened, man, you got to be dreaming, which means that that you're asleep. These people are sleepwalkers, man. They're sleepwalking zombies, thinking that they're woke. You're dreaming if you think you're woke. You're like, when you dream and you dream that you're awake.
Yeah.
It's like in the morning, your alarm went off, and you thought that you woke up, and you're getting started with your day, going in, maybe even brushing your teeth, putting your shirt on and putting your pants on, your shoes on and stuff like that. And you getting ready to head out the door and all that sort of stuff. And then you wake up. You're like, dang, I'm late for work. Yeah, right? That's Democrats. They're awake in their sleep, in their dream, man. It's a waking dream. That's about how woke you are. You know, this is Republicans. Even the Lord refers to death as sleep. We're live, and when you have Him at your focus, man, you're awake. You're wide awake. You know, but your eyes aren't like wide open, and staring at the sun, blinding yourself. You know, so. But this person, trying to call us, the woke right, that's a stretch. It's like it's a stupid narrative. What's even more dumb about this is that this guy's supposed to be, he gets invited to speak at churches.
He's, for the last few years, especially during the last 5 years, he's toured all the evangelical churches. He even went to all of them in California that you've spoken at.
Yeah.
The big ones. And he's an atheist, but he knows so much about Karl Marx and communism that he's invited to speak to evangelical churches. And that's basically, I call him a grifter because that's just what he makes money off of Republicans and so-called Christians.
Wow.
If you're going to let an atheist come into your church and teach you and take the pulpit and teach you, I don't know.
Yeah.
And these are the same churches that you and I would go to, our whole entire Christian life in California.
It's wild, man.
I'm talking Chino Hills. I'm talking that one you spoke at, and the pastor he's national. I'm talking about national pastors where you spoke and addressed the people.
Yeah.
They invited this guy, and this guy is a grifter. And now he is calling Christian nationalists the woke right. He's saying that we butthurt and that we fancy ourselves victims.
Well, expressing our grievances like the First Amendment says that we can, and we've got a legitimate grievance.
Right.
Well, he's just a person who doesn't want, he doesn't want the advance of the truth. He wants to be seen as an oracle himself.
Yeah.
And it's sad, man, because these churches, these places that he's been, man, I've spoken at events. It's weird, man, that these are the people that have been, Paul was going through the same thing. Paul was going through the same thing, man, he's watching these grifters, these fakes, these people who people flock and fawn over. And Paul's like, dang, man, y'all are being misled, seduced by these people. And I'm watching this. I would go and speak to these things. I would get standing ovations. I think probably one of the reasons maybe I don't get invited to speak anymore is because I've pretty much expressed a lot of times is I don't like doing public speaking. The reason why I don't like public speaking is, well, I guess I didn't really feel like I was really good at it. But people was like, dude, but I'm like, I'm glad that you think so. But it's kind of like Moses, man. Moses is like, man, don't put me out.
I was gonna say that's why God put you out there, because you don't think you're good and you're not full of pride.
Yeah, thank you. Moses is like, man, I'm not really an eloquent speaker, man. I'm not a swift debater and stuff, man. It's not my thing. And God's like, you gonna learn. we doing this, cause I'm gonna have Aaron start first, and you're gonna take over. But I've said that I really don't like it. And another reason why I don't like doing public speaking, because I'm tired of just talking. Come on, man, let's get to the doing. It's like I got a pretty good idea of what needs to be done, and it's not getting out there and triggering people on college campuses to get attention.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these, but it's like we're getting out there, we're exposing us. Dude, we already know that they're crazy. We already know. You're not showing us anything that we don't know. You going out there and causing these people. You're supposed to be, if you want to do something useful, show these people how to man up, not melt them down.
Yeah.
Go out to these people have a hissy fit and all that sort of stuff, just so you can, show yourself as, look how brave I am for getting out there exposing these people, and debating with idiots. It's like, no, dude, you're not helping to educate them on anything. You're just trying to expose, you're exploiting them, to make yourself, look good. So you have this right here, this person who gets invited to speak in the church. Like Paul says, man, why are you letting, you just give yourselves over to the godless, and it goes along with, why do you have the godless arbitrating over your affairs, and so I've spoken at these things. I've spoken at the people who are the darlings of the right wing now. I've spoken at the same events that they have, left the stage with a standing ovation. I don't know what they got.
Yeah.
But these are their darlings now. I don't get called back. And the funny thing is, the places that have affiliations with people like Charlie Kirk, they'll start off, right? They'll start off inviting me. They'll invite me there. And it doesn't take long before all of a sudden I don't hear from these people anymore. They don't want to have nothing to do with me. If they know Charlie Kirk, it's almost like he found out or something that they got something to do with me, and they don't call me back no more. Right? It's kind of weird, but it is what it is. I've like I said, I've been in the same room with Charlie Kirk. Dude wouldn't even look me in the eye. I've shared the stage with him. So, all that to say, this isn't even more so about James Lindsay. So what? It's the church that has embraced him. That they would listen to this guy. I would get snubbed. They don't want to have anything to do with me, but they'll embrace somebody like this. And that's like, wow, man. No wonder. It's like the church is just ripe for problems. That's what they invite. They invite it.
Yep.
They can have these people out there calling themselves Christians. They have people that go in there and speak. They got atheists. They got Christians. They got people who call themselves Christians and don't even believe that Jesus is God. They got people who call themselves Christian while they parade around, the country with homosexuals, trying to make it look like, see how open we are in the Republican Party? We like homosexuals too. Going on and interviewing homosexuals and telling them, I think it's great that you adopted children. I personally don't agree with it, but I think it's great that you did. It's like, no solid biblical stance on it.
Yeah. Roland Jones, he's in the chat.
What's up, Ro?
He says that's why Kirk Owens and Tatum will not invite you on their show or ask you to join them, which is a good thing, though.
It is a good. Thank you, man. It is a good thing, as the word says, what fellowship does light have with darkness.
Amen.
And it's like, and doesn't really, it says, don't want you sitting at the same table with these people.
Yeah.
It's I was doing fine, before. It's not like I need them for my career, but. It's just sad though that people like that want to pretend like you don't exist because of wanting to make themselves look like the trailblazers. They don't like it, that somebody else was doing work. They may give credit to some other people who aren't. The casual approach to conservative commentary. That was. I'm not saying I'm the only one, but there was a group. A very small group of people pioneering that stuff. When you had the advent of social media, like MySpace, and YouTube and early on and stuff like that, there's people like me going out there and giving this casual conservative perspective, this way of doing it that was outside of, what people viewed as, the stuffy suit and tie guy.
Yeah.
It's like, no, man, I'm just, it's like conservative. You don't have to be that. You could be like the guy next door. You don't have to, come put on airs or like, you don't have to seem stuffy and unapproachable and all that sort of stuff. Here's this guy, man, in shorts, t-shirts, got his hat on, backwards and whichever, and is making a case for conservatism as effectively as these people are doing. And it kicked the door wide open for a lot of people. It's just like, yeah, man. It's like, that's what we need to do. We need to get out there and we need to represent, not just leave it to these people on the TV, doing it. We need to get out there and start representing. That was my whole thing. It's like, don't wait for some politician to do it.
Yep.
Don't wait for some pundit to do it. Let's get out there and make the case, man, and let's sell it. That's what we need to do. So I was one of the early people. There was like, people like myself. Or there was another guy doing it. He's been gone for a long time. There was another guy, was a Smoke Screen. He does more cultural commentary now, but these are like cats that were early on, that were doing it, around the same time that I started doing it. A little late, I think there was Crowder was doing it. He might have been doing it. I didn't catch on to him maybe a couple years later. I don't think I found out about Crowder until maybe 2008 or 2009, but he might have been doing it earlier on. I know he was. I don't know if he was using the internet, but I do know that he was doing a stand-up comedy. And that's how he would do. That's how he would include that in his work. But yeah, this in terms of this thing that caught on, to this approach, to getting out there and promoting conservative perspective. I was one of the early on people doing that. But like I said, these people, they don't want people like me to be known for that. They want to be, seen as the trailblazers who opened up the gate, for this massive red pilling, if you will. It's like I was doing this stuff, all these people I think were still in middle school, So, and for people like me, it was easy to cancel me out because there's a couple people, there's myself, there's people like, Joe Messina, they know that we don't have the recourse. We don't have the means they knew we don't have the means to fight back against, being canceled. The big tech and conservative, they know that we don't have the means. So they just keep us buried. They know that there's nothing we can really do about it. Mm-hmm.
And so less competition.
Yeah, just shut them out. So as effective as I may have been at promoting conservatism, I still really didn't have any sort of recourse. I didn't have. You got to have my approach was still too boutique. My approach was still too exotic. Theirs is more affordable, like fast food. My approach is I'm not trying to say that I'm gourmet and stuff like that, but there's just a nuance to what I was doing that was just more exotic and didn't have the audience that could, that would have the recurrence, as opposed to a lot of the audience that'll come back to that fast food joint really fast, really often. So that's the appeal. I know that's basically a fast food analogy, but it is what it is. I mean, look, man, you see what I'm saying? It's mainstream, man. It's mainstream. It's very commercial viable, as a lot of junk food is.
Yep.
All right, it's the thing that people will go for first.
It's a good analogy.
And that's where you got a lot of these mainstream conservative so-called oracles. They go to that. It's the most successful. It's expedient. It's just something that to rev your to give you a sugar spike really fast. All right, it's accessible, fast burning carbs, and it's causing a lot of inflammatory problems, ain't it?
Yep.
Yeah. They don't want, and it's they want to keep you coming back for those. They don't want you coming over for the more paleo approach. We know how to cook it right, but they don't want you coming over here. Anyway, y'all, that's what I got for this Monday. Did I say I was going to try to make this short? Well, thank you guys so much anyway for hanging in there with me. If you guys hung in on the YouTubes, if you guys tuned in on the Instagrams, I really appreciate you. And of course, on brazenly.com. And I hope you guys come there, populate the powwows, man. Become a member. It's free. Ain't gonna cost you nothing. I ain't gonna spam you or anything like that. And drop that buck in the bucket. Keep your brozo on the go. Hope you guys will support our efforts here. We're trying to bring you those productions, man. Not just sit here in front of the American flag and talk to you. We want to be able to put these things in interesting media and convey these same values in edgy and interesting ways. Yeah. All right, y'all. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. You guys are the grooviest. Have a groovy rest of your evening, and we will see y'all on the next Bronze Serpent Media production. Bye.